Hello, hey, Mitchell here. And I'm just being joined by my friend. Who are you? Uga. This is Uga. Say hello. Now, Uga does not have a kink in her tail. Booga, who looks just like this, maybe a little different, does have a kink in her tail. Anyway, Uga wanted to say hello. Not my names. We adopted these two little twins just um, uh, about 2 years ago, actually, a year and a half. Anyway, distraction. Um, got an appearance by the kitty, one of the kitties, and a little bit of they're shedding. So, yeah, that's what happens with animals. Anyway, hi. I've got some really cool stuff for you today. Um, and boy, where to begin? I feel like uh, I've been completely tuned out of the media lately. It is now March 19th. Um, I know weird things are happening. Uh, I know the the cabal is going crazy. They think that they're um, they're in. They think that they're the ones, and they're just having a high time raiding the coffers and ransacking the castle. And you know what? It the there is something here that is absolutely the opposite of what I've heard from on the media. Um, so I'm going to just continue to say, come back in here, turn off out there. I don't know why, but as time goes on, I'm turning off more and more and more. Anyway, it seems like what's happening in the tearing down is less important to me because I know that the tearing down can happen without me. And in fact, it's better to be out of the way for when the towers start to fall. Um, you can get hurt when if the stuff falls on you. So if I'm out of the way completely, I'm already in the rebuilding, and that's where I'm spending my time. And it's getting more and more and more exciting as I spend more time here in the rebuilding. And this rebuilding is in the imagination. I'm picking up what can be. I'm tuning it to what it can look like on the physical plane. And I'm very confident that the clearer I can imagine it, the better and more quickly it will be established. And this goes for all of us, every one of us, everyone listening, all of you. Do your part by imagining what it is that you want. Not do your part by screaming at the screen. Do your part by focusing on where you want to be. There's that quote attributed to Gandhi that says, "Be the change that you want to see in the world." And that is such an amazing way to look at things. And it's not an easy thing to quite understand without being in it day in and day out for weeks on end. And I feel like I've been in it day in and day out for weeks on end now. And I'm only now beginning to understand what it means to be the change that I wish to see in the world. So I'm going to encourage you to do just that, to get out of the head, get out of the story that's playing out right now, and come into the place of creating the story that you want to see, rather than the story that's happening and that might not be suitable for very many at all. Let's find that story that is rooted in abundance for all, for everyone, for all of us, and begin living that in here. I've done several meditations recently. A lot of it has to do with really amping up the heart center. And I would encourage you to go back and look at some of those and find your, if what I'm giving you isn't quite right for you, find your own. But I would highly, highly recommend really building this kind of this tower, this candle that starts. I like to start with the solar plexus and then build out so that we connect these 3 core chakras, and then from there build out further, and then from there go way down into the earth, grab onto this chakra that exists with each individual that's rooted in the earth, and then send our light up through the top. And it's a fascinating meditation, and it's a very powerful one that's very timely right now. Is become an antenna of light that directs all that which is non-physical, which we cannot see, which are very interested in what's happening to us right now. Direct their energies here, pull it down, become a magnet for that, and also connect deeply with the core of the earth, with this earth, and be the spokesperson for this planet. Be the witnesser for the energies and the actualities of being part of planet Earth. And that's what we really are here now today, is we're establishing ourselves as a deeper consciousness that is Earth. That is the Earth, that is our planet, that is Gaia, and that is all of us as a unit, not as individuals, but as a collective and as part of the planet, and then the solar system, and then that which is beyond. So these meditations that I've been offering, connecting with the planet, connecting with the stars, connecting with the light, connecting with the non-physical, look into those and practice those regularly. You get more out of that than you will ever get out of the media. So get rooted with yourself, with the earth, with who you genuinely are, and then connect with your larger being, which is the infinite, which is all of that which we don't see. We're here as a physical manifestation, and it's just a little brief point in this much larger awakening in the experience of all that is. And it's it truly is infinite. It's ongoing. It's never ending. And just being here in a place where we can experience time and contrast and physicality, limitation. This is the miracle. And take that experience that we take for granted, and oftentimes, way more often than we should, we curse this experience. We want more stuff. We want safety. We want comfort for this physical experience. When we're having an experience, we are consciousness having this experience. I've told the story earlier in my videos of different times when I've had difficulties and how they became some of the most amazing experiences in my life. There's the one where I broke my wrist. I don't know if you can see it, but I've got a nice big scar right there. I've got a titanium reinforced wrist right now. Anyway, I was on a bike ride. I like to mountain bike, and I like to mountain bike like I was a teenager, even though, I'm maybe a couple of years past that. Anyway, I wasn't paying a lot of attention. I was jumping a jump that I've jumped a million times. Not a huge jump, but it was spring, and the bushes had started to sprout, and they grew in a little bit further than they had been. And so as I jumped, the bushes caught my handlebar. And I was like, my wheel turned. I kind of got caught in the bushes a little bit. And so when I landed, usually I tuck and roll, but there was a rock the size of it was a good sized rock. I was going to say the size of a loaf of bread, but it was much bigger than that. And instead of tucking and rolling, I hit my wrist and it shattered the wrist. The fascinating thing, though, was that something, all of experience dove in to be there with me. That's how I interpret it. Because even as I was flying through the air, knowing that there was no way that I was going to land this because my bike had already flipped up, it was out from under me. I saw this brilliant yellow light, and it was just like, whoa. And so I followed that. Now I tuck and roll, being protective of my body as I usually am. The rock happened to be where the wrist was. The wrist hit, and my consciousness was not in anything else but this space right here. And that yellow orb exploded. Like the light was beyond the simple yellow orb that I had seen. And I'm saying this as if it occurred over a long period of time. No, it was like that. But my experience was, oh, there's a yellow orb. Oh, something big is about to occur. Oh, let's be very aware. And everything slowed down as if it took 20 minutes. The explosion of light that happened around the wrist was just phenomenal. And so instead of saying, shit, right? It was like, oh, wow, I am having a very intense physical experience. Experience this. Be with it. Witness it for all that is to see what is happening. And that light stayed there. I saw very little else. I knew that the wrist was broken. I saw the body. The body was like, right? The bike was, I meshed up the bike pretty good too. But the predominance of my focus was in this expanding awareness of something extremely amazing was happening here. You can't break a wrist in the non-physical. And so when these things happen here, it releases a tremendous amount of energy. And if you can be there, wow, watch it, experience it. So anyway, there was a group of hikers. They came along. I asked them to help me down the mountain because I really couldn't wheel my bike. And I had to hold my wrist steady because it was a little floppy. I needed to hold it in place as we walked down the mountain. And so these people helped me out. I don't remember pain. I remember light. I remember being very excited to be the experiencer of something extraordinary. And the body and the mind kept coming in. And of course they were saying, ouch, coming from the body and the mind. Freaking fame, it's just the beginning of mountain biking season. You're going to be, you're not going to be able to ride all some blah, 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 right? And you got to go to the doctor, right? But staying in the light of the wow of the experience kept the mind and the body from really getting in the way. And of course I did go to the emergency room. They x-rayed it, and yeah, it kind of went like it was not a compound fracture. No bones were poking out, but it was definitely surgery time. So they stabilized it, wrapped it up, and then Monday I called the doc, and I think Tuesday I had surgery. It was just that quick. And fascinating enough, I'm laying there the day after my surgery, and let me pause. Sorry about that. I'm recording on my phone. A call came in. I wanted to put it off. Anyway, I'm laying on the ground next to a big a sliding glass door in our house in the sun, and I get a very, very strong image. I'm looking out into the bright, almost blinding light of the day at the sun that's outside. This was still early spring, so it was colder outside, but I was watching this bright sunlight from outside, and I swear I see a figure standing there. And so this is right after surgery. I just have, all this stuff going on here. I'm not in pain. I'm still seeing an incredible, experiencing light coming from this. And I hear this voice saying, I'm Gabriel. I don't do angels and that kind of thing. I mean, I'm aware of it, and I know people who really are into it and how it helps them and how they can really connect and speak with it. But to me, it's not been my thing, so I haven't really invested a lot of time and understanding to that. But here's all of a sudden what looks like in this blinding light that's right outside the window, and this voice that says, I'm Gabriel. This is going to open up your voice. This is for you to be able to speak. This is for me to be able to speak. I'm like, wow. I was just in awe that this is really, really happening to me. It was pure consciousness. It was a very valid experience, just as valid as the actual physical crash. And just as valid is the experience of the light. And here is what appears to be a being, an angel, giving me a almost audible message. I'm looking around to see if anybody else is there hearing this, because it just kind of came across so clear. So anyway, all this is to say, there may be stuff happening that sounds and looks terrible, terrible, terrible. But if there is all that, then there must be a light around somewhere. And look for the light. Come into the light. Be the light. Be the change that you want to see in the world. The light that's coming into each individual, when you're open to it, has your message. Open up to that light, that message. Come inside. Learn to translate it. Learn to find out what that message is telling you. And then put it into the world. Whatever it may be. It may just be very simple things. It may just be taking care of yourself or your family or your cat, or being extra attentive at your place of employment, or at the grocery store with the checker. Kindness, awareness. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. You know what? I got a bunch of other stories. I just published a book. It's called The Importance of Flying. And it's about a trip that kind of started a lot of these experiences. So I would highly recommend you pick that up too. Anyway, bye-bye.